guys, so we're here at the junkyard. I got my bag of tools. We're just kind of scouting some treasure. I don't really know what I want until I see it. I'm really looking for an LS motor, so we're gonna kind of look around and see what we find, and I'll let you guys know what I find. And I find it. Ooh, this would have been a good one, but it's already yanked. All right, so we appear to have an LQ4, which I've never seen one of these in the junkyard, but it's missing a head. And over here, we have a Gen 453, and it's got 243s on it. So I think I'm just going to pull the heads off of this engine, put it on that short block, make a short block out of that, put the heads on it to turn it into a long block, and just buy the whole thing. The only thing that the 5.3 is missing is the oil pan. But I mean, if you have the chance to buy a 5.3 or a 6.0, only question is this thing trashed? So I don't really know. The truck doesn't look wrecked, which is always scary because that means the motor's probably toast. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna pull it. I'm gonna start to disassemble it. All right, guys, a little update. We ended up moving on to a different engine because this one was way cheaper. It's an 06 Gen 3.5 engine. So I went in and got the A-frame set up. It took me forever to find this. I'm out of breath. Anyways, I'm gonna get the intake stuff pulled off because I'm just gonna get a bare engine with heads only. So we're gonna get that off. I gotta find a seatbelt to make a lifting joist thing, and then that's it. We're gonna pull this thing out, hopefully. All right, just like that, I got this 5.3 out of here. I already spun it, spins over nice. I'm just gonna go ahead and strip it down. That way I don't gotta pay for all the accessories, and then get it in the barrel and hope I can chug this thing all the way to the front and get it in the back of my truck. I'm out of breath again. If I can get this thing in the back of my truck, I think I'm gonna come back and try to find some more junkyard gold. I saw a transmission and maybe another 6-liter. Ooh, that's heavy. All right, I'm gonna struggle getting this thing up to the front, but we're gonna get it up front and loaded, paid for, and hopefully it only costs, I think, 250 bucks. So we're gonna see if we get a score or not. All right, guys, we finally made it home from the junkyard. It's kind of late in the day now. I ended up going out there 3 separate times to get what I needed. So we ended up getting this. This is a 5.3 flex fuel motor, which is basically a normal 5.3 with flex fuel injectors. I do want to go back and get the injectors because they're flex fuel, but anyways, this motor spins nice and free, doesn't have a ton of oil leaks. Haven't taken the valve covers off to look at it yet, but just judging by how it feels and spins, I think it's going to be a winner. And then I did also go snag a trans. So the junkyard I normally go to never has transmissions in it, and I saw this 480E sitting in a truck with no engine. I couldn't help myself, so I went ahead and scooped that as well. There is an LQ4 sitting out there, so I may try to go get that maybe in the next few days or maybe next weekend, but I'm really not in a huge rush to go spend more money on random junkyard motors that I have no use for. This is a pretty good setup for now. This is an entire driveline for something cool. And yeah, that's it. No real reason to buy the trans, just to have a spare because I do like to run these in my projects. But yeah, anyways, so I think in another video we're going to kind of clean this thing up, take the valve covers off, make sure there's no oil or coolant in it anymore, and yeah, just kind of clean it up and get ready to use it in something. I'd like to put it in the Ranger because I got to pull the Ranger's engine out because the oil pressure is really low. So I want to put a fuel pump, or I want to put an oil pump in it, get the oil pressure up a little bit. But while that motor's getting out and getting fixed, it'd be cool to run this just to see, you know, how good it runs, what the oil pressure is and all that before we touch it. So anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. We got some pretty good junkyard gold. I think we did pretty good. I had to do it all by myself, but luckily I had some seat belts and a little hoist to help me out. And yeah, if you really want it bad, you can get it. So, but that's it, just rambling. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, so I showed you guys the engine and the transmission we got from the junkyard. Well, I kind of got inspired, and I think I want to start fixing up the single cab Silverado. It needs a lot of stuff. This thing's pretty rough. The biggest thing, the hood looks like crap, and while I was at the junkyard, so the same vehicle I pulled that engine out of had this hood on it, and it's not very hard. It's not very easy to find a really clean hood at the junkyard. There is one tiny dent somewhere up there, and there's a couple small paint chips, but other than that, this thing is absolutely mint. So we did go ahead and pick up a hood. It was like 50 bucks, so we got a new hood for the truck. I still need to get a wiring harness. Since it has a 4L80E, it needs to come out of a 2500 HD. There's a couple of them in the yard, so I think maybe this Saturday I'm going to try to go out there and get the harness. And that's it. I'm just going to get this thing wired up very sloppily. We can see if we can get this thing to start. I don't plan on driving it on the street anytime soon, but it would be nice to kind of get this thing running and going. That way it can move under its own power. And it's got an engine and trans that's never ran, so I'd like to see if those engine and transmissions are good. The transmission's a Junkyard 480E, never been touched, never opened it, don't know if it's good. and the motor's a 5.3 with a sloppy stage chute cam and valve springs, and that's about it. So anyways, that's gonna do it. I just wanted to kind of show you guys this, and hopefully we can get this thing going. That'd be really awesome. Hey.